The Education of a Value Investor, My Transformative Quest for Wealth, Wisdom, and Enlightenment by Guy Spier. We are all very familiar with the stock market guru Warren Buffett. He is the only person to have become the world's most decadent by buying stocks. His company, Berkshire Hathaway, has the highest stock price in the world. As of August 2017, the price per share was close to $270,000. It's essential to note that when Warren Buffett started acquiring Berkshire Hathaway in 1962, the stock price was just $7. It means that if you had invested $10,000 in this company in 1962, you would now earn a staggering $380 million. Apart from being an investment wizard, Warren Buffett is known for his philanthropic activities. He is exceptionally generous, having donated $27.5 billion over the past decade. One source of Buffett's donations is the famous Buffett lunch. Since 2000, Warren Buffett has been auctioning off his lunchtime. It happens once a year, and all the money goes to the Glide Foundation. Up to this point, the highest winning bid for the Buffett lunch was 2012 $3.45 million. This is the world's most expensive lunch. The author of this book spent $650,000 and won the opportunity to have lunch with Buffett on June 25, 2008. Buffett and the author discussed top-level wisdom about investment and life during this lunch. Afterward, the author included the content of the conversation with Buffett, his understanding of Buffett's ideas over the years, and the various transformations that Buffett's thoughts brought to his investment and life into this book. It's all encapsulated in this book. These 5 truths can be applied to investment and impart wisdom for living. The author, Guy Spier, graduated from Oxford University and Harvard University. He is the head of the investment company Aquamarine Fund. By chance, he came across a biography of Warren Buffett, which fascinated him with Buffett's value investing philosophy. From that moment, he embarked on a lengthy journey of emulating his idol. Spier studied in depth every company that Buffett invested in. To avoid the noise and hustle of Wall Street, Buffett moved his company from Wall Street to Omaha, Nebraska. Wherever Buffett had a meeting, Spier would go, no matter how far it was. However, Spier's story is not just about idol worship. While emulating and learning Buffett's value investing philosophy, the Aquamarine Fund he operates also achieved impressive market returns. In its first 10 years of establishment, the Aquamarine Fund brought more than 4 times the returns to its investors. In the upcoming parts, I will delve into the 5 truths that the author learned from Warren Buffett. These 5 truths are: 1. Stick to your principles. 2. Stay away from the madness of crowds and noise. 3. Maintain childlike wonder and curiosity. 4. Cultivate valuable relationships. 5. Be true to yourself. At first glance, you might think these 5 truths are too simple or somewhat cliché. However, in reality, all top-level wisdom shares a common underlying logic. Furthermore, these truths helped the author amass significant wealth and navigate many pitfalls. First, let's take a look at the first truth. Stick to your principles. What does it mean to stick to your principles? In other words, it's aligning your actions with your principles. Your action standard remains consistent with your principles no matter the circumstances. Anything that contradicts those principles or doesn't align with your goals is discarded. For example, Warren Buffett famously said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." On the surface, it might sound like he's advocating being contrarian, buying when others are selling, and vice versa. However, it's more complex than that. The deeper meaning of this statement is that Buffett makes decisions based on the fundamental value of stocks, not being swayed by greed or fear. So, what are Warren Buffett's investment principles? It can be summarized: buy at a low price, hold for the long term. Buying at a low price means finding high-potential stocks at favorable prices, essentially looking for bargains. And holding for the long term means being patient and waiting for the company's value to increase. Buffett's approach is to assess whether the current stock price is low compared to the stock's actual value. In more straightforward terms, he looks for opportunities to buy soft and holds onto those investments for a long time. Here's an example. The author of this book, Guy Spier, used these principles to his advantage. During the technology stock bubble in 1995, while the entire market was chasing tech stocks, Warren Buffett remained unresponsive. He continued to invest in industries that appeared less high-tech but offered substantial returns, such as Coca-Cola. People criticized Buffett for not keeping up with the times, saying he'd lost his touch. However, Guy Spier applied Buffett's principles in his analysis. He believed that Berkshire Hathaway's stock price was significantly undervalued. While the entire market was selling off, he invested heavily in Berkshire Hathaway. When the financial crisis hit in 1997 and tech stocks crashed, Berkshire Hathaway's value remained unaffected. The stock price of the company Spier invested in quadrupled, and following these principles and staying true to them helped him realize substantial returns. So, sticking to principles isn't only about choosing investment strategies and running a company effectively. For instance, in the corporate world, many hedge fund managers charge management fees regardless of whether the investments are profitable. Some companies may rely on marketing and the inflow of funds rather than performing well as businesses. Guy Spier initially followed this practice, leading to many clients' losses. On the other hand, Warren Buffett doesn't charge a dime and only takes a commission when the net returns exceed 6%. It shows Buffett's commitment to the interests of his shareholders. In the end, Spier chose to align his interests with the interests of his investors, which led to the growth of his fund company and the addition of long-term partners. Stay away from the crowd and the noise. Strictly speaking, this truth complements the previous one, which is sticking to your principles. The last truth addresses what we should do, while this truth is about what we should avoid. It advises us to reject temptations, irrational behavior, and unnecessary distractions. For instance, when we think about stock investing, we often associate it with Wall Street and the luxurious offices, where fund managers are glued to their computers, making phone calls and attending meetings. But what if I told you that the world's most famous investment company, Berkshire Hathaway, isn't located on Wall Street? It isn't situated in the bustling financial district or has superb offices. Berkshire Hathaway's headquarters has only 25 people, and Warren Buffett's office is just 16 square meters. There's no computer on his desk, and he often works from home. Even in the office, he buries himself in books and newspapers and frequently turns his phone off. He doesn't even have a personal email address. It is unconventional because the typical perception is that a financial company should be on Wall Street, offering access to first-hand information, staying ahead of market movements, and hosting numerous clients to build trust. Warren Buffett's avoidance of these practices aligns with the second truth, staying away from the crowd and the noise. By keeping his company headquarters far from Wall Street, he distances himself from the crowd's frenzy and minimizes external distractions. The small and modest office, devoid of luxuries, maintains a transparent, uncluttered environment conducive to focused thinking. In this context, Berkshire Hathaway's unique approach demonstrates the importance of sticking to one's principles and avoiding unproductive social interactions. By maintaining a more secluded and tranquil workspace, Buffett minimizes distractions, allowing him to follow his principles effectively. For example, during the 2008 global financial crisis, Buffett's detachment from Wall Street and the crowd allowed him to make several wise investment decisions. While the stock market was in turmoil and everyone was selling, Buffett invested significantly in companies like Goldman Sachs, General Electric, and Dow Chemical. Though his decisions weren't initially well received, and Berkshire Hathaway's stock price fell by 30%, these investments eventually yielded enormous returns, with a return rate of nearly 40%. On the other hand, Guy Spier, the author of this book, was working on Wall Street at the time and helplessly witnessed the decline in the value of his holdings. Only after his meeting with Warren Buffett in June 2008 did he realize the value of creating the right working environment. Following Buffett's advice, Spier immediately moved his company from Wall Street to Zurich, Switzerland, aiming to build a conducive work atmosphere. By distancing himself from the noisy crowd, Spier could make independent investment decisions, leading to a transformed investment perspective. Preserve childlike wonder and curiosity. What does it mean to preserve childlike wonder and curiosity? It's about the source of happiness. Many people who are hustling in big cities often suffer from daily anxiety because they see others who are more successful or work harder. Consequently, they work long hours and lack the time to enjoy life, leading them to believe they aren't happy. So, can preserving childlike wonder and curiosity genuinely bring happiness? Scientists have long discovered that no matter how significant something is, providing long-lasting feelings of joy is challenging. For instance, receiving a windfall might make you happy initially, but this feeling soon fades. Natural, long-term happiness comes from the small moments of joy we encounter daily. Before delving into studying and emulating Warren Buffett, this book's author focused on earning money more than enjoying life. He graduated from Oxford and Harvard, received a traditional education, and started working on Wall Street. The work atmosphere was intense, and the stress level was high. There was little room for life satisfaction amid the daily grind. Warren Buffett, known for his investment wisdom, has many distinctive qualities, such as his aversion to crowds, disliking meetings, keeping his phone turned off, and burying himself in books upon entering the office. But these distinct characteristics aren't limited to work, they extend to his personal life. For example, Warren Buffett drinks Coca-Cola daily. Coca-Cola is well known for being a high-sugar, high-calorie beverage, which doctors advise against. But Buffett doesn't listen. He explained that he calculated the lowest mortality age for humans to be 6 years old, so he's emulating the dietary habits of a 6-year-old to maintain a sense of security. He loves Coca-Cola and has invested in several food-related companies over the years, including Coca-Cola, Anheuser-Busch, Burger King, and Dairy Queen. You can even find many photos online of Warren Buffett enjoying ice cream. Additionally, Warren Buffett is a devoted bridge player, frequently playing bridge at least 4 times a week for 2 hours each session. He is so passionate that he even started the Warren Buffett Bridge Tournament, named after him. Bridge is a card game that requires patience, cooperation with a partner, and the ability to infer opponents' hands from their bidding and play. Moreover, Warren Buffett is known for his wit and sense of humor. He has numerous anecdotes, one-liners, and humorous quotes. For instance, in 2012, when discussing the importance of independent thinking, he shared an anecdote about his wife warning him while he was driving. She told him to be careful because she heard on the radio that a car was going in the wrong direction on the highway. He replied, "Honey, you also listened to the radio. It's not just one car driving in the wrong direction, it's all of them." In essence, Warren Buffett maintains happiness through frequent small joys. He finds a life-work balance by accumulating these moments of happiness. As he once said, "I tap dance to work every day, and when I get there, I paint the wall." Next, let's take a look at the fourth truth. Cultivate valuable relationships. First, let's understand what valuable relationships mean. Beneficial relationships refer to connections with individuals who make you better after interacting with them. You can learn many things from these individuals. Of course, to establish valuable relationships, you should also strive to become a helpful person. It's even better to exchange value equally with the other person. Why should we cultivate valuable relationships? In simple terms, it's about the influence of those around you. In 2007, Harvard Medical School conducted a study that found that if one of your close friends gains weight, you also have a 57% chance of gaining weight. Why does obesity spread like this? It's because friends influence each other. Therefore, the choice of your friends is essential. During the lunch meeting, Warren Buffett told the author that the best way to learn is to be with the right people and around those who are better. You will unconsciously progress. So, this truth also outlines another path for learning, making friends with talented individuals. Put yourself in a circle of gifted individuals because excellence often clusters together. Having excellent people as role models gives us a high reference point for our growth. So, how do you choose the right friends? Warren Buffett shared a method with the author. If there are 100 people in a house, he would first select 10 people he would like to collaborate with, then choose 10 people he would never cooperate with, and the remaining 80 would be observed. He would concentrate his time and energy on the few he could trust and who shared his values. This method, though simple, is highly effective. You see, getting to know 100 people individually takes a long time. Therefore, it's better to choose the top 10 people who are the most excellent, with the most similar values. Focus your connections on them and wait to judge the others, maybe later. Now, let's explore the fifth and final truth. Be true to yourself. Being true to yourself means being loyal to the internal scorecard you have within. But what is this inner scorecard? Warren Buffett believes that when making decisions, people are influenced by two scorecards, the internal scorecard and the external scorecard. The internal scorecard represents your principles, the values you believe in, and what you consider essential. On the other hand, the outer scorecard is how others evaluate you, public approval, and whether others agree with you. Every time you make a choice, you should take out your internal scorecard and decide based on your values and principles. With every such option, you give yourself a point. On the other hand, the external scorecard should be ignored and not looked at. These two scorecards represent two different life attitudes. Those influenced by the external scorecard constantly seek to conform to the demands of others and are easily swayed by their environment. For instance, in the stock market, when external opinions influence people, they often make poor decisions, chasing what's trendy. In contrast, people who stick to their internal scorecard focus on inner growth, disregarding external opinions. They walk forward according to their own defined values, regardless of what others say or the temptations they face. Warren Buffett's personal life is a great example. He is exceptionally wealthy but lives in a house he bought for $31,500 in the 1950s. His most driven car was a vehicle he bought for $15,000 many years ago. His breakfast consists mostly of hamburgers and cola. In essence, a billionaire has chosen to live like a middle-class person. Why does he do this? Warren Buffett believes that the purpose of making money is to achieve freedom. Once he has earned enough money, he can do what he truly wants. What he wants most is to work for himself. The salary he earns becomes less important. Did the author find his internal scorecard while studying and imitating Warren Buffett? Eventually, after over a decade, the author realized that he didn't aim to become another Warren Buffett, he sought to be true to himself. Every person's risk tolerance differs, so self-awareness is crucial. After deep self-reflection, the author stopped pursuing the highest returns and followed his internal scorecard. He sought stable, long-term returns. So, he invested a significant portion of his funds in Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. In his view, economically and emotionally, this company provides stability and peace of mind because of Warren Buffett's presence, giving him a sense of security.